Are you ready for next level growth in your business? Welcome to the Lindsey Anderson Show, where we pull back the curtain on the exact strategies, tools, and mindsets that build million-dollar empires. If you're hungry for more time, more freedom, and a whole lot more impact, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, because we're about to ignite your business journey. Now, here's Lindsey.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. I am so excited to welcome today's guest, Miss Dylan Jahraus. She is a 10-year e-commerce expert transitioning from corporate roles to scaling e-commerce ventures, launching a profitable Etsy business that exceeded $1 million before expanding to Amazon and Shopify. In 2022, she introduced the Ultimate Etsy course, attracting over 3,000 students and generating $28 million student revenue. Her organic success has built a thriving community with 91,000 people on YouTube and a top Etsy podcast called Etsy Seller Success. In 2024, she launched SEO, a SaaS tool for Etsy SEO optimization. Dylan's commitment as a wife and mother drives her integrity and dedication in business. I am so excited to have Dylan on. Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lindsey.
Yeah, so you've had so much success on Etsy and building a YouTube channel and your podcast. What do you credit all of your success to if you had to pick one thing? We're just diving in with the hard questions right now.
I love it. I love it. I would say endurance, not quitting. I will outwork, I would say work ethic really is what it comes down to. I will do what I do not feel like doing day after day for years, and that results in success. Because most people, they end up quitting or, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. They just push things off. And that's what's made, I would say, the biggest difference.
You just keep going, resiliency, you're never going to give up. You just keep doing the thing. How do you credit just your personality that you don't ever give up? Do you rely on systems in your business? What keeps you on the days that you don't feel like it keeps you going?
I would say most entrepreneurs or even people who've had any sort of success, they've usually had something in their life that maybe it's tragedy, maybe it's a hardship, something that really shaped their character and their drive and resilience. And for me, definitely growing up, I'm the daughter of an addict. I had a sister who had an accident. My only sister, she was in a coma when I was 13, and now she's like a 9-year-old permanently. I had a lot of hardship and just tragedy when I was younger. And then that really fueled me to have this mentality of I'm not going to let my circumstances, I'm not going to let these bad things really take control of my future. And that sparks this mindset of whatever I want to do, whatever that vision is, I'm going to make it happen.
I love that all the hardship paid off for you in the long run and made you who you are today.
Yeah. And finding purpose in that is important for a lot of people.
I like that. So you had a ton of success on Etsy, and then you built into a course where you taught over 3,000 other people on how to do that. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So the Etsy success. Now, I didn't get a sale on Etsy for my first 2 months. Okay. I threw
Okay.
something out there like it was Craigslist. It was like one picture, a couple words. 2 months later, someone bought it. And I was shocked. I'd forgotten I had an Etsy shop actually. And then within a couple months from that, we're making over $10,000 a month. I'm taking all those corporate e-commerce principles from my corporate career, applying them to Etsy. And that's really why we saw consistency. So that really scaled up to over $50,000 a month up into 8 years. Wait.
Congratulations. Can you expound a little bit? You said we took some of those corporate principles that I learned in corporate and I applied those to my Etsy shop. Give us a couple of those.
Yeah, I think one thing is a lot of people start with the idea of what product am I going to sell? What do I sell on Etsy? Instead, I started with who do I sell to? Which customers do I want to serve? And I looked at, okay, what is going to bring me consistency? And to me, it was no matter what the economy is like, people are always going to be getting married, having babies, and passing away. So I focused my product mix around those milestone events that people were going to be spending money on no matter what.
That's very smart. So you started with the customer trying to find a gap in the marketplace to actually fill it instead of what product do I actually want to sell? Let's hope I can find a client for this kind of situation.
Exactly. All I did was I had one product idea. It was from my wedding. So perfect. We started with wedding. But then every other product was an idea from a customer. And they just asked me, can you do this? And I just said yes every single time.
I love that. So talk a little bit about your ultimate Etsy course where you've attracted over 3,000 students. What can you explain? What is that course like? Is that just a digital course? Do they get time with you? What is that?
Yeah. So this is mind blowing to me because I never thought I would have a course. I never thought I'm an introvert. I never thought I would be like out there on YouTube. And this started 2 years ago, 2 years and 4 months exactly. And I just put up YouTube videos every day. And then after about 21 days of that, people are asking for a course. Didn't have it yet, started building it, selling it while I was building it, and it was high ticket. So they got a course with coaching with me for 6 months. And it was just a community group. So public community group where they're asking questions publicly. Fast forward 2 years later, we now have about 37 people on our team, employees all over the world, 14 people on the coaching team. And it's actually much more intensive one-on-one private coaching. And then they are getting 5 live coaching calls every week.
That's fantastic. So very hands-on, very high quality. It sounds like you're getting results out of that because you're putting in the time with the people. You also know what their problems are, obviously, because you've done this before. So you mentioned you. Let's turn our thoughts there. So you decide one day I'm going to be posting on YouTube. Tell me about this.
Yes. So I think it helps a little bit that I was a blogger in the past. So really, there's a lot of similarities in terms of the consistency it requires. So I was a
Okay.
blogger for 7 years prior to this, right? Posting all the time through college, through internships, and the early part of my career. And so I knew how to be consistent with something and I knew how to come up with content ideas. And I also knew how to kind of position things with the right marketing to get clicks. So SEO, I use that in blogging heavily, use that in e-commerce, and also used it on YouTube. So started just giving value and giving away so much free information that most people keep behind the paywall. And the response was, oh my gosh, like no one is sharing this depth of information on YouTube. I can't believe she's giving this away for free. What more could she help me with? What's behind the paywall? So it really sparked that curiosity. That was really, I would say, our starting strategy.
Awesome. Now you said you posted every single day for 21 days. Do you still post every day on YouTube?
Oh my gosh, no. My goal was 30 days. And then I got mastitis and then I got pneumonia. So I got sick. I think my immune system just crashed when I did that.
Yeah.
So I was just, yeah, it definitely was a little bit of overdrive, I would say. Now we do twice a week and we haven't missed that in the entire time.
That makes sense. And you have, was it 91,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? A very thriving community over there. And so you're posting videos twice a week. How do you maintain consistency? What's important in building a YouTube community? You expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, I will say that it's much easier to be consistent with something like YouTube if you outsource parts of it. And for me, the editing was something I was not good. Like I'm filming on my iPhone, editing in what is that? iMovie. I have no idea how to do an animation. It would take me 20 minutes to get like words to pop up on the screen. And I realized this is not productive. This is not a high leverage activity for me. I actually went on Upwork, put up a post, got a great editor who actually lives a couple hours from me. And he's been with me for a couple years. He travels with me to student meetups in summits, and he's been great. He's such a core part of this. And now he actually gives me every week a list of video prompts and ideas. So I get to then choose from that. And he does that kind of research legwork. So it works really well. And then I film once a week, 2 videos. I go live a third time on the channel every Wednesday. It's definitely not just me making this happen.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Can you talk a little bit about this live component? Because I have found that obviously you being live, that builds intimacy with your audience. Can you expand why it's so important for you to go live every Wednesday?
Yeah. So I would say consistency is important in everything that you do as a business owner. If you're posting inconsistently, if you're showing any sort of inconsistency, it does break down trust and it makes people question your commitment to your business and your clients. So I do think it's really important if you're going to do something, be consistent with it, follow through. If you're going to say, I'm going to go live every Wednesday, you better show up and then letting them down because this is an opportunity to build trust. So I go live I have a couple points that I want to talk about, but ultimately I'm listening to them, answering their questions, and giving a ton of value. And that really keeps the engagement high on these lives. I'm not just talking about random stuff in my life. There's definitely an element of relatability. And I might mention what happened crazy morning with the kids or whatever, but it's still value focused during that time.
Yeah, can you expound on that a little bit? Because you come from a background of being a blogger and sharing some more personal details about your life. Can you share just a little bit more about how much of that is needed so that we know that you're a person versus how much just straight facts and value about growing your Etsy shop and how do people find a balance there?
Yeah. So I would say it depends on the stage of the business that you're in as well. So for me, a lot of us, we're building personal brands that are also a business. Now, at some point, and this is the crossroads I am at, do we want to prioritize the personal brand and become like a Layla Hermosi, Alex Hermosi, Cody Sanchez, Jenna Kutcher, or do we want to make a shift, right? And maybe start prioritizing the business, the facts, getting other faces out there, and it is a decision, I will say, in the 0 to 100,000 follower range. It seems from what I found like you will grow so much faster as a personal brand. So
Right.
getting up there and at some point pull back and get other people out there. But I don't think when you're under 100,000, it's a smart move. I think it'll slow you down. For me, like I do share my kids, and this is personal preference. Like I'll share them maybe once a week, putting up Christmas ornaments on the Christmas tree or them doing something funny. But it is a mix. I would say 80% giving value, 20% relatability, just so they can feel like, okay, I'm idealizing her life. I can see, I want her life a little bit and it's attainable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind this topic of sharing our kids online? Like, that's a pretty hot topic. Can you expound a little bit more about like your views on that, how you handle it, how you handle the concerns around that?
Yeah. So my husband's active duty military. We have guns in the house. I will say I feel very safe. If we wouldn't want a complete stranger seeing something or someone who has ill motives to see something, we're very careful. We're very private about certain things like identifiers. I do not post them with their school uniforms on and things like that. Just very conscious of what's in the background too. And also, I think I was about to post something of my kids in the back seat of the car. And then I looked at their car seat straps and like, is someone going to,
Right.
yeah, because people are so judgy.
I bet you get that a lot.
Yeah.
What? So, in terms of a little bit personal, but also then this 2080 thing that you mentioned. So, do you do that 20% on YouTube as well? Are you doing that on shorts and in videos, or do you take that over to Instagram to do more of your personal life? What does that look like for you?
We have tested so many different things on different platforms, and we come back to this over and over. The long form YouTube content has to be giving value and providing value to people. A day in the life video, for example, while it's not going to perform well, it is important to sprinkle in a few of those because that might be the thing that convinces someone to trust you and
Right.
ultimately buy from you. So I don't think you can do all educational content because you're going to miss that trust factor.
Okay, so essentially is what you're saying is like the more personal ones, they don't get the kind of reach and the kind of views and the kind of interaction, but sprinkling those personal ones in for those people that are further down the funnel, like they're all about that. Like the important people are watching those and interacting with those.
Yep, that can be the tipping point for them to book a call and join your program. So cannot, even though they don't get a lot of views, we can't completely skip those.
And how does that play into YouTube shorts and Instagram for you?
Yeah. So we've also played with this. So we have what we call talking head videos, which are basically it looks like a YouTube video talking to the camera, very professional, just giving value and education. And then we have what performs the best on Instagram is much more lifestyle B roll than with text and a trending audio. So we those do not perform on YouTube short. So like we've tested that, we've brought them over before and completely different audience and engagement level we highly leverage ManyChat automations. So it just doesn't work the same with YouTube. Those ManyChat automations really spiral engagement and visibility on and reach on our Instagram, but it just doesn't work the same on YouTube. So we keep the content pretty separate.
You do? So in terms of, because everyone's mecca is, I just want to record these videos and put it out on all of the social media channels and hopefully it'll all perform the same. That's a pipe dream, right? That does not work.
Totally. You're going to fall flat. Yeah. You're going to
Yeah.
do well on one.
Yeah. And that's because it's community building, right? Like, what does the community want there? There are different people that interact on YouTube, that are different people that act on Instagram. So you have to be in the sandbox you're in and deliver what those people are looking for.
Exactly. And that might mean not doing some platform. So for example, us, like we've totally taken our foot off the gas with TikTok. We have just found that is not where our best customers are hanging out. Our best customers don't have time to be there.
Makes sense. So you have a bunch of people on Instagram, you have a lot of people on YouTube. What does your sales system look like to get people off of social and actually buying from you?
Yeah, so we have a pretty robust sales team. It started with me by myself for 6, 7 months. We're making over $500,000 a month just by myself, no ads or anything. And it was over 6 figures a month just through Instagram selling, high ticket through DMs, which is very unheard of, I'm told. We were selling at that point, it was like over $9,000 packages through the DM. And now, fast forward, that was like a year and a half ago, we have two setters who are in my DMs. They do introduce themselves now. Before they didn't. But we've realized it's really important for them to introduce themselves now. And then we have 6 salespeople who take calls, Zoom calls. Typically, people find us on our podcast or YouTube, then come to Instagram. Then they're set on a call either by our setters or through a ManyChat automation link.
Makes sense. And so does every time you get a new follower, does an automatic message go out and that's what your system looks like?
So it's not automatic. It's actually a personal message, either Brittany or Chelsea introducing themselves and thanking you for following, learning more about your shop or what you're doing, like why you're even following us.
So it seems like you've spent a lot of time like perfecting that. Can you speak to people who are trying to create a solid sales system like that? What did you learn along the way?
Yeah. So I started out, I took a course to learn how to even build this course. And Instagram, really leveraging that platform was part of it. A little bit of YouTube was part of that as well. But then I got connected with Cole Gordon, with closers, got connected with Alex and Layla Hormozy, and did a weekend with them. And they mentored us for about a summer, which was very helpful. And I would say just getting recommendations from other people in the industry. And now, like, I have connections and I know people in other who have other high ticket programs. So, okay, what's working for you? You have a cleaning company. You teach people how to set up house cleaning businesses remote and different customer, but what is working for you now? And we kind of share best practices.
I like that. Obviously, mentorship is a really big part of your journey. Can you speak to how important mentorship is at this like to get to this phase in your business?
Yeah, getting to 8 figures within the first year of this coaching business without ads was so stressful. And every day, I'm doing something new that I've never done before. So trying to basically use like my business background to make decisions in areas that I've never had to make decisions in. There's so much room for error there. I just found that it's really lonely at the top. It's like my parents call this internet money. They're like, what are you doing? Like, they do what? And they're really old school. They're in the Midwest and it's hard to find people. Like, your neighbors have no idea what you're doing. Like, how are you making money? And so finding people who are doing what you want to be doing is
Very lonely and like getting all these new ideas and understanding what's working because the marketplace is always changing. And I think it's really wise to get, even if they're not Etsy people like you, but what are other industries doing? Yeah, I think that's really wise. Can you comment on, so we're AI, ChatGPT came along right when you were doing all this. What's your take on AI?
yeah. So we actually built a software called Etsio, which is SEO for Etsy sellers that uses AI. So I actually am really cautious with how AI comes into the business because I do feel like in a lot of ways it can be obvious if you're not careful. And that for our customers, it would turn them away if they felt we were not actually taking the time to give them personal attention. So if you think about like the Four Seasons experience. They're not going to turn all of that into a robotic system. That special human touch is still really important. So if you're selling high ticket products. Some of ours are over $20,000 packages. You don't want to be coming across like you're just taking the easy way out with AI. So we use it very selectively and we always do post production on it.
Right, right. You always have to put your own voice on it. Like it can help you 80% of the way, but you got to put that last 20% on it. So it sounds like a human. It sounds like you.
Totally.
Can you expound a little bit? I found it really interesting that you were talking about Instagram DM selling and selling these high ticket packages on DM. What's your process for that? What are a couple of tips that people can take from that?
Yeah. So with DM selling, it can be easier than getting people on a call sometimes, just because, especially our clientele, busy moms, they don't have quiet time to get on a call. And the DMs throughout the day when they can check it is really what they can do. Really getting to know where they're at, what their problem is, where their constraints are. Everyone is so different. So we're not selling, we're really learning about them. We're not saying, looks like you need some help, buy this thing. We're saying, what are you struggling with? What is your goal? What is your vision for your life? It's almost like a little mini back and forth therapy session where people are like, my husband, we had one lady, she's like, I want to leave my husband, but I can't afford to yet. So I need to build this business. And people will just spill their lives, but creating that gap between where they are, where they want to be, and really finding a custom solution for them. And then getting them on a call is always the best idea, especially if you're high ticket, especially to cover yourself as a business owner. So to have the contract and everything be very professional, I do think it's really important to do that. So we no longer sell through the DM.
Is it more successful for you to sell on a phone call then? Or just because your team has grown and like you cannot personally do this anymore?
It is more successful, and I would say it's easier to set expectations about the services. So
Makes
there's
sense.
fewer issues post sale.
Makes sense. Would you, I don't know if you have a favorite. I know you're not supposed to name your favorite child, but if you could pick one social that's bringing you more sales, would you say that's YouTube for you right now or Instagram?
Definitely YouTube.
Definitely. Even though YouTube doesn't have the DM feature and stuff like that, are you growing your email list out there and getting them over there that way?
Absolutely. So we always have a CTA in the video or all of our long form videos. And what I like about YouTube is it's a search engine. So the effort you're putting in, like a video from 2 years ago, it's still getting hundreds of thousands of views. And it's one of my top performing videos every month. And you can still have the human interaction. It's just in the chat or in the comment of the video. So when you comment back to someone, they do get a notification and it's just public, which can be good as well for other people to see how you interact with people and how you have that attention to detail and care with other. So definitely leverage your comment.
I love that. People love the comments. They do love the comments. Do you focus on your email list at all or do you text messaging or are you mostly on social? What's your asset here?
Yeah. So email is huge for us. It is, we have a really great email guy. Everyone asks me like, what's his name? What's his contact? And I keep that close to my chest.
You're not sharing.
He's like my secret weapon. They do over 6 figures a month just with email in terms of generating revenue. So really smart marketer. We do daily emails. Some people say it's too much, but we nurture heavily, I would say.
Agreed. Awesome. Dylan, it's been such a pleasure to interview you. What is one thing you've done so much in your career? Here you are now. What is one thing you wish you would have known before you got started?
Hire before you think you need to, because you can easily get out over your skis where you are panicking. And hiring when you're panicked really going to cloud your judgment. So hire before you need to, anticipate your hires. And if you have a proven business model and you're scaling, don't be afraid to hire in an anticipating way, I would say.
Awesome. Dylan, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to turn the time over to you. Let everybody know how to find you and anything else you want the audience to know.
Cool. Yeah. Definitely connect with us on Instagram where I'm always over there. I'm actively in my stories too. And we love to have conversations in the DMs. So it's just Dylan Jahraus on Instagram. If you want to see what we're doing on YouTube and all the content and free education we provide, Dylan Jahraus on YouTube. And if you are interested in maybe turning digital products into passive income with Etsy, a lot of course creators, content creators have digital products that they don't even realize they could sell. Definitely reach out and we can share more about how to do that.
Appreciate having you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
There you have it, folks. Another awesome interview here on the Lindsey Anderson Show. A big thank you to Dylan for sharing all of her knowledge and insights on today's show. If you are looking to sell more with social media and you want to sell more high ticket items with social media, make sure you don't miss my upcoming workshop. Head over to lindseya.com/workshop. Get signed up for that. And thank you so much for joining me on the show. Cheers to you and your success.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Lindsey Anderson Show. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share how you're leveling up your business. Want more? Connect with Lindsey Anderson and get the tools you need to crush your goals at lindseya.com. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and turn those business dreams into reality.